'79 had a bunch of interesting video games, but there's two that we have to sort of highlight and spotlight. The first is Asteroids. Jared, I know this is a game that's near and dear to your heart.
It's one of my favorite video games. Asteroids is a beautiful vector graphics game, even though it's monochromatic. It's only, it's just black and white, but it's drawn with those wonderful vector light guns, so you get this super crisp image. Unless you've seen one with your own eyes, no photo or video does it justice. You just got to see it. And this blinding, beautiful light, and this really, really difficult to control, but once you get good at it, artfully maneuverable spaceship.
I mean, that's what really stands out to me about Asteroids is a lot of old games, games from that era I can appreciate on, the incredible technical hurdles that they had to overcome. I don't really consider very many of them that playable by today's standards, but Asteroids is immensely playable. You know, very, very fluid physics, realistic, the momentum of your ship, all of that it's kind of incredible how easy it is to pick up and understand and play by today's standards.
The thing that to me is sort of at the heart of that game is that it delivers this proposition of risk to the player with, are you going to move your ship or not? Right? And like once you do, things can get a little better for you, but they can get a lot worse, right? And it sort of allows you to kind of manage your comfort level there, but once those asteroids start coming towards the middle of the screen, it's like you're in this place where you're sort of trepidatious about it all, but you've got to do it, right? And sort of inviting the player to participate in that in a very dynamic way is something that a lot of games of that era, I think, missed or didn't offer.
And hyperspace takes that even another level, right?
Just like hit the button and hope you don't spawn on top of an asteroid. Which, the controls are all buttons. There's no joystick in asteroids. You're controlling with buttons. It's also Atari going all in on space. Nolan Bushnell's first video game was computer space. Asteroids really is just kind of like a super streamlined, revised version of computer space. But you've got, Space Invaders has come along just before this, and you've got spaces everywhere, Star Wars, Star Trek, just like we talked about. This is Atari's all-in on space game, and they nail it.
Absolutely.
I think when you look at the version that then came out on the, I guess it was the Atari 2600, it kind of illustrates what works about the arcade game, because suddenly you're using the joystick instead of the complicated, it was much more challenging, the arcade version. But also, weren't the asteroids all colored in the Atari game suddenly?
Yes, that's due to the limitations of the 2600's hardware. Although people have come along just the last couple of years and figured out a way to make it look much more like the arcade version. But yeah, they're all colored. It does play quite well, though.
It never felt like the same game, though.
No, it isn't. It's a very good port, but an adaptation, but it's not the same game.
Yeah.
So, Asteroids would, it was sort of in the middle of Atari's period of being able to do no wrong. That game, over 70,000 Asteroids cabinets were made. It made over $150 million in revenue for the company, and reportedly, it's hard to get exact figures, but $500 million that game pulled in for arcade owners.